YouTubers, fear you up first. Happy, wonderful, winning Wednesday. Let's get the other one started. I got to start off with a smile. Happy, wonderful, winning Wednesday. Let's get the Facebook going. Hello, hello, Facebook, IG, YouTube. What's up? What's up? Happy, wealthy, wonderful winning Wednesday. It's a great day to have a great day. Always coming live from the classroom as always. It's time to get it started. Okay, let's get it started today. I'm with the homeowners today. We checking with the homeowners today. Hopefully, things are well on your end. And oops, sorry, IG. It's still pinning the wrong link. I don't know how to change that, but anyway, still checking with the homeowners this week. I try to alternate weeks. I do homeowners. I do first time home buyer topics. So today we're working with the homeowners, right? The last time I worked with the homeowners, we were talking about insurance. And a lot of people don't realize how crucial insurance is and the things that you need to do and have in order to be able to make sure that your home is fully insured. So today we're talking about three of the major things that could happen to your home so that you need to be prepared. Get this out of my background. Hand sanitizer. Look. But bags and everything. Didn't make sure I was having some technical difficulties. So it was annoying me. I I can't get this out of my way. But we're gonna talk about it today. So I'm so passionate about this because of the fact that being a homeowner, I made a lot of major mistakes. Right? I should say I learned a lot of lessons. So the thing is, when you be like, you know what to do when you first get in, right? But what do you do once you're in? Your financial literacy has to step up, right? So one of those things is knowing about your home. You have to know the makeup of your home, the things that happen, the major things that could happen, and being able to be prepared as much as possible. So I'm so passionate about real estate education because of the fact that I made some, I shouldn't say, I learned a lot of hard money mistakes by being a homeowner. I was a homeowner 2010. I bought a home in Memphis, a 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath home, 2,700 square feet. God gave it to me, 150,000. But I did not take care of it. I did not have monthly maintenance. I did not have I didn't, save for monthly maintenance. I didn't keep up with my insurance. So all the things that I bring up here is the things that I went through personally. So that's why I'm so passionate about it, because of the fact that I know for sure that this is happening to some people, and I want to prevent it from happening to others who want to become a homeowner. And I didn't know how real estate worked at the time, and I squandered, my home. I let it go. I didn't do the thing. Hi, Nisa. I didn't do the things that I was supposed to do, and I had to sell in a short sale. And not only did I sell in a short sale, you don't get any money, none. It's not yours. So as the years progressed, my home went from 167,000. Just a long story short, it went from 160,000, and by the time I moved back to Detroit, it was already at 350,000. I squandered a $200,000 bag. So that's why I'm so passionate about real estate education, because I don't want people to have to learn that hard money lesson. So let's get into it today. So we're talking about the three types of home damage you can't afford to ignore, right? Financially and or physically. Okay, we can't ignore these. So homeowners don't go broke from bills. You could if you're not financially literate, but they go broke from the surprises of their home. Those major things. Now it's 5 major things, but I'm only gonna go over 3. So you got electrical, plumbing, foundation, HVAC, roof. Those are the 5 most expensive things in your home, right? So if any of those things, you know, happen that you don't have what you need as far as the money as reserves, you got to be scrambling. Sometimes insurance doesn't pay. So I'm going to show you three types of damages that will drain your wallet, hurt your health, and kill your appraisal, and what to do in the first 24 hours. So that's what we're talking about today. So like I said, I'm a financial literacy educator but I'm a real estate educator. That's what I like to say. I do infuse financial literacy with my real estate, and I love my real estate. Don't get me wrong, but this is where I am. I'm an educator. I'm in my classroom right now, so this is what I love to do. So let's talk about. I'm here to first of all, I'm here to serve. First time home buyers and Detroit homeowners. So that it can protect equity and make smart money moves. That's what I'm here for. So let's talk about it. So the first damage that I'm going to talk about is water and moisture. Water and moisture can kill a lot of things. A lot, especially here in Detroit, where we have basements. So they are a silent equity killer. A lot of people do not take care of their basements. They do not pay attention to their basements. And that's where a lot of the water damage comes from, and also from the roof. Roof is another thing. So why does it matter? Water becomes mold. Mold becomes medical bills and insurance headaches, and buyers run. Anytime you have to do mold abatement, costs a lot. So making sure that you don't have, moisture. So some of the red flags that you can look out for is musty odor, bubbling, peeling paint, discoloration of ceilings, um, white powdery substance on basement walls, water bill spikes, running sump pumps, and during dry weather. So if your toilet is constantly running, it's a plumbing issue. It's a water issue. So making sure that you are paying attention to these signs, right? So what can it cost you? So small roof leaks and patches is like $300 to $1,000. A full roof is like 6,000 to 12,000. Okay, so that's depending on the square foot of your home too. So burst pipe cleanup and dry out is like 2,000 to 5,000. I had this happen in my home. Okay, that's how I know. My house, when I came back, I had been gone for about 4 or 5 hours. When I came home, lifted up my garage, it was raining in my garage. I'm like, what's going on? It was sunny outside. It was no more water nowhere. So I'm like, and when I walked into my because from the garage is my kitchen. When I walked in my kitchen, I had like ankle deep water, and then I just saw water just pouring from the light fixtures from the living room, the dining room. It was everywhere. I was like, oh my God. So then when I ran upstairs, I saw where the water was coming from. The whole upstairs was flooded. It was a line in the back of the toilet that burst, and it had been probably running for about 4 or 5 hours, and we had to stay out the house for two. It took like almost 2 weeks to dry it out in order for them to come in and do it. So water can cause a lot of damage. I don't know which one is is worse, fire or water, but they're probably along the same lines. So, and then if you don't dry it out, then you have mold. And if you don't pay attention to these leaks, then it turns into mold. So mold remediation is from, depending on the area, could be like 1,500 to 6,000. So so a 24-hour action plan would be, stop the source, shut off water, tarp roof, clear gutters, and downspouts. So during this time when we're transitioning weather, and the trees are, leaves and stuff are falling, the squirrels are doing their thing, all the animals doing their thing, you need to make sure your gutters are clear. That keeps your roof too from having premature leaks. And then making sure your gutter clear, because of the fact that we get a lot of snow. Snow load in Michigan is 50 on your roof. So you need to make sure that you're understanding that. And you can't melt the snow off your roof, but you need to make sure that your gutters are clean so it's properly moving, right? So for a 24-hour action plan, so like I said, stop the source. You're going to start a dry out. So fans, dehumidifiers aim to dry within 24 to 48 hours. You're going to document everything, because you have to document everything, because of the fact that insurance companies are going to find a way not to pay for your stuff. So make sure, like, when you first get your home, if you have valuables, your TVs, make sure you have your serial numbers. If you could keep your receipts, if you got jewelry, anything that you have of value, you need to make sure that you video photos, keep all the receipts, all of that. So, and that's before, this even happens. So then once that happens, uh, once you have everything, you got the damage in your footage, then you document everything, right? Well, you document everything, but you call a pro if drywall is musty, ceilings are sagging, or you smell, strong mildew odors. So a money tip would be $350 will fix a leak today, can prevent $7,500. Okay, a mold job plus a higher premiums later on your insurance. So track your water meter for 15 minutes, no usage. If it's moves, hidden leaks are there. So make sure you're tracking your meters. Make sure you're looking at your I know we got digital meters now for DTE. So if you got digital meters and stuff like that, make sure you're tracking it to see if there's no water. If you got everything shut off, track it for 15 minutes to see if that water meter is moving. And if it's moving, that means it's a leak somewhere. Once you shut up all the water. So um, I know one time before I was going to do a walkthrough for a family who wanted to sell their house, and I said, you see the ceiling stains, and the seller ignored it. Um, by just kind of painting over it or whatever. 6 months later, 4,200s in drywall had to be done. Paint, mold remediation, and the buyer was credited at inspection. So I said, do it beforehand before it costs you more, because the water ended up spreading. So that's why it ended up having to be so much. Plus the mold, you can't just paint over it. You got to stop the leak. You got to dry it out. You got to do the things. So the second thing is electrical and fire. Like electrical is dangerous. So you need to make sure that you are paying attention to your electricals. This is a safety and insurance issue. So why does it matter? Electrical causes fires, potential claims, potential claim trouble if the system is outdated or no codes. So if you are living in an older home, you need to make sure that your uh, electrical is up to code. So how do you know, what are some red flags to look for? Warm and discolored outlets, like you see your outlets, they got some browning on there. Frequent breaker trips, like you always got to go and trip the circuit breaker. Flickering lights, two-prong outlets, buzzing panels. If you hear any noises, aluminum knob and tube, if you still have that, you shouldn't have that still in your home. And then lack of GFCI near water. Okay, so make sure that you understand all of these things. And if you're on my YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, do all the things. And if you're on all my other platforms, give me some likes, give me some love. Let me know what you think about this information. So, um, how much these things cost? Let's do the cost breakdown. So you have the panel upgrade is $15,000 to $3,000. The let me get it right, GFCI and AFCI, okay, protection is $100 to $200 per outlet. So think about that. Your home rewire could cost $8,000 to $20,000 if that has to happen. So electrical, like I said, the reason why I'm going over these is because these are the top three that cost the most. We talking about water damage, like plumbing issues, leaky roofs and stuff like that, and we talking about electrical now. So the second thing is, I should say the third thing is, this is your 24-hour action plan. So stop using warm and sparking outlets immediately if you feel it's warm. Test your GFCIs, that's your outlets, the ports in kitchens, bathrooms, basements, and garages. Making sure those, they have testers that you can get from like Home Depot and stuff like that, or get a professional to do it. And schedule a licensed electrician for a safety check. If you have an older home, you should definitely, something that's like, I wouldn't say 20 years. If if it's like 40, 50 years old, if 100 years, like we have houses here that are 100 years old. And the house that I'm getting ready to sell, it was built in 1926, and they have not updated the electrical. So you have to know your home, and know the things. So make sure that you schedule a licensed electrician to come out. So add smoke and CO detectors on every level. Near, especially near bedrooms. If you have an older home, you don't just necessarily have that. They only have it like towards the kitchen or in the hallway. But regulations now, you have to have near every bedroom, on every level. So, especially towards the kitchen and all of that. So to prevent this is a little money tip. To prevent a $25,000, okay, fire loss and avoid inspection retrace, protective safety is key. That's what you have to do. Upgrades can support higher appraisal and smoother underwriting if you're looking to sell. Make sure that you're understanding that you might want a short fix right now, but if you plan on selling your home or you need to do something, a lot of people try to do patchwork and then you end up paying more in the end. Just get it done. And that's why you have, as a homeowner, you should have a plan. You should have set aside maintenance. And I did a video on this a few weeks ago. So go back and look at it. I gave you a whole plan on how to save for these major breakdowns and how much it's going to cost you. It costs you, probably less than $100 a month for each one, just knowing the cost of these things. So, I had a client one time, it was the investment property. They didn't want to, spend the money, but ended up having to spend it anyway. So he spent $1,900 upgrading the panels and GFCIs. Those are the outlets. And then, the buyer avoided, because he was trying to flip it, insurance delays. And, we kept the 5,000. The inspector tried to negotiate off. So see, 5,000 versus 1,900. That's the difference. That's a huge savings. So would you rather spend 1,900 or would you rather spend 5,000? It's up to you. So the last damage, and one of the biggest expenses is structure, roof, and foundation. If you have cracks in your foundation, if you have, roof issues, those are some of the biggest costs. So there are deal breakers. Foundation and roof issues are deal breaker items for appraisers, lenders, and inspectors. Unless it's an investment property, you're going to go in, but sometimes investors will walk away too, especially if a foundation issue. Foundation issues can cost a lot of money. So how do you, recognize these things? So you got cracks in your steps, cracks in your brick, sloping floors, long roof lines with missing shingles, sagging ridges, and water in your crawl spaces. Even if you have cracks in your driveway, up your sidewalk, go around and look at the house. A lot of times when I show homes, we go around and look at the house and see if there are any cracks in the brick. If there's any cracks in the brick, that means that it's about to crack through the wall. And then that can become a problem. So foundation crack injections are $500 to $1,500. So if you catch it early enough, it won't be as much. But if you got to go in and do the whole thing and fix the foundation totally and replace brick and all that, lift up stuff, it could cost $8,000 to $30,000. So you have to make sure that you're paying attention to your home. So during this time period, because we're about to transition to, it's fall and winter, these are the times you do these inspections. You're inspecting your foundation, your roof, your gutters. You making sure your windows are, good. Your electrical and plumbing are running at its capacity of what it's supposed to. All of those things. And roof replacement can be between $6,000 to $12,000, depending on the type of roof. A lot of times we have, and then it depends on the square footage of the home as well. So you have to understand that you can avoid these by inspecting it. And if you should know how old your roof is anyway. The roof, the house that I'm selling right now on Griggs in Detroit, is 4 years old. That's information you need to know. Anytime that you're looking for, this is for if you haven't bought a home before. Excuse me. Always ask how old is the roof, and then you could tell if electrical. Let me tell you a little. Not electrical, but plumbing has been upgraded because a lot of homes in Detroit are old and they still have that metal tube and the metal pipes and stuff in the basement. Go to the basement. I know the basement be like, ugh. Go to the basement. If they don't have the red and blue tubes down there, you're gonna have plumbing issues. So when you look up at the ceiling, look at the water heater, see how old it is. It has a date on there. All of those things you got to when you're looking at homes because some real estate agents don't pay attention to that. So you have to pay attention to these things. So make sure that you're paying attention to this yourself. Understand like new plumbing has the blue and blue and red, the blue and red tubes and not the metal. Electrical paddles, if you see the still like the little, you can press it in and out, that's knob and tube. If you don't have the switches, that's old electrical. So just understand what you're looking for. So if something happens with your, roof foundation or anything like that, this is your 24-hour action plan. So photograph cracks with a ruler, track the growth. Okay. Check gutters and grade to push water away from foundation. Now they do have gutters that you can get covers over now. So invest in that. So then that won't be a problem. And then get a structural roof assessment before listing or any major reno. You always want to check your roof and your foundation before you do a major reno, because if you do, it could alter your specs and your plans if you have to do something with the foundation. So here's a money tip. So spending $1,200 to control damage can avoid $10,000 foundation job. I already told you it could be $8,000, $30,000. They charge a lot for foundation. So water away from the home is the cheapest structural insurance you'll ever buy. So make sure that you are having, perimeters and things of that nature that are protecting your home from water. You don't want water to come into your home. Make sure you're looking at your cracks. So if you have a home, especially, in the Midwest, walk around your house, look and see if any cracks. And if you see any, then that means you need to measure them, document them, keep track of it to see, how, because you can get it filled in for like $300 instead of later on you have big cracks in your wall, spending between 8 to 30,000. That's just something to think about. So I had a client that I was working with, and they regraded and extended the downspouts for it was like $1,000 or so. The basement dried up, the inspection passed, and they kept $7,500 of seller credit to the buyer because of that. $1,000 versus $7,500. Like, how much do you want to give up? So I always go with a financial literacy angle because I always mix my real estate with financial literacy. So, let me recap. So I talked about three of the biggest repairs and damages to your home. So we're talking about plumbing, water damage, electrical, fire hazard, and then roof and foundation issues. All of those cost a pretty penny if you're not prepared. So this is a way for you to prepare. I'm gonna do a little synopsis because I did a video on this before. So you prepare by doing a 1% rule of maintenance. So with that, you budget like 1% of your home value yearly for repairs. And then that will help you with your repairs. So if your home is 250,000, that means you need 2,500 a year saved. So do the 1% rule, because you don't have to itemize it at all. You don't have to itemize it. You can just, based on your value of your home, however much your home is worth, then you can just save that amount, and that should be enough. Hopefully, in a high yield savings account, that's where you want to put it. All right. So, sinking foundation. If you have sinking foundation, then thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. You have sinking foundation. Then you want a separate bucket for roof, systems, and emergency and automatic transfers. So get this stuff automatically transferred. So it's out of your account. Because when you buy a home, your financial literacy has to step up. That's just what it is. You know what you got to do to get in, but once you get in there, you have to start budgeting for these things. And that's why a lot of people say, owning the house is too expensive. Yes, because you didn't prepare. And they think the insurance and your home warranty is going to protect it. No, you have to have protections on your own. So, cost delays, a $400 fix ignored can turn into $4,000 after secondary damage, and all these things that could occur. So make sure that you have an insurance game plan. Understand your documentation and what's covered and what's not. Because the thing is, insurance companies, you could be paying for years and years and years and years. And if you don't know what's covered, then you think that you're covered and you're not. That's just happened with my phone. So, make sure that you document, review your documents every single year, keep receipts, understand your deductibles. Multiple small claims can raise your premiums, and then it can cost you insurance. And they're stopping your insurance if you keep getting you keep getting claims. So they'll cancel it. Because I know for me, when I had the fire damage in my home. Somebody hit my house in 2000. So the fire damage is in 2010, and then somebody hit my house on the side of my house in 2000. What was that? 14. And my insurance company told me that I had too many claims within that period. I'm like, it's been 4 years, and that water damage wasn't on me. That happened, I should have called my real estate agent to help me through that, but I didn't. But that's another story for a different day. But they will do stuff like that, and they'll find ways to not cover it. You got to know what riders you're going to need. What are riders? Things extra that's not on your insurance, because of the fact that, like, if you live on a vault line like in Memphis, you got that separate earthquake insurance. If you live at places that flood insurance is separate. Does it cover wind damage? So you have to know these things, and it might be a separate rider. And homeowners insurance does not, if you don't have a rider for your valuables, like your jewelry, furs, things that are high value, that's a separate rider. It's not automatically covered. So you have to understand your insurance, and then think about your financing options. You got to keep your credit up to par. I know you might not want to buy nothing up. You don't need a car. You got the house, all of that, but you might have to use your equity to, fix something you want to renovate or something. Or you might have to use a little money to be able, if you didn't save, you might need your financing to be able to get a loan or something. And if you don't have the credit, you're not going to be able to get it fixed. So, make sure that you're understanding how your credit is working, keeping that together, because you can't get a home equity line of credit or any type of line of credit off your equity if your credit is bad. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your credit score in that, the high 600 range is cool, but you want to keep it at that 740 and higher. And I'm talking about high 600s. I'm talking about 680 and above. But 740 and above, is you in clear water, because everything, it don't matter if you got a 740 or 850, you still get the same treatment. You still get the same interest rates or whatever. So just making sure you keep it in that area. And 780, is great too. But you got to be able to learn how to do that. I got videos on doing that too. So you just have to prepare. So protecting your home is protecting your wealth, and your home should be used as a wealth building tool. If you want my step-by-step maintenance guide, because I got one, calculators, repair, decision trees, you can grab my ebook, House Rich and Money Smart. It's your playbook for how to turn your liability into an asset. I have all of those tools in there that you need. I might make it digital. So like people like spreadsheets and stuff like that. I might make it digital so that you can have it calculated already. I actually have it already done, but I just didn't include it in ebook because, a lot of people don't like to use Excel or whatever. But if you're Excel nerd, that will help you. But I have a whole game plan on how to turn your home into a liability. I mean, how to turn not a liability, turn your liability into an asset in my house, Rich Money Smart. So you'll comment, the word smart, and I will definitely send you the link. So thank you for all of you that tapped in with me. Give me some likes. If you're on my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Go look at my other videos. Give me some love on there. I appreciate you. And let me know if you have any questions. Reach out to me. You can leave comments in the chat. Later on, if you go back and watch it, or you can send me a DM. I am. I gotta change. I'm Re with. I'm Toria Re educator on Instagram, but it's just my name on my Facebook. But it's Re with T on my Facebook too. If you want to reach out to me, my links are in my bio. It will be attached to the description of my YouTube. If you want to schedule a consultation, they are complimentary. And yeah, let's get it going. So everybody have an amazingly beautiful, blessed day. And I'll see you next week for real estate. It's supposed to be a real estate Tuesday, but I had meetings and stuff. So real estate Tuesday again, but it's real estate Wednesday today. But usually I do it on Tuesdays. But I had to make sure I get my videos out. So have an amazingly beautiful, blessed day. See you next week. And if you need anything and any questions and assistance, please give me a call. Have a blessed day. Bye, YouTuber Sphere. Thank you.